What's up, everybody? It's Troy. Hope you're doing fan-fucking-tastic today. I just wanted to throw some extra energy in here with you guys since we're talking about purpose. And, I want you to feel that energy because having and being on purpose really does just that. It creates energy, creates direction in our life. There's a natural magnetism to that, right? Like if you think about the energy that we create when we're on purpose, it radiates, it has its own magnetic energy, and people often want to be a part of it. And that's a beautiful thing. And I have been in states where I was completely off purpose. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was floundering in life, and that was tough, man. There's challenges to that. And so I want to share with you kind of the tips, tools, and insights that I was able to use to get closer and realigned to being on purpose, to where I feel amazing, because each day I come in with a mindset of, all right, here we go. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. What's next? And it feels good because there's momentum to that, right? And we all know what it feels like when we have momentum. And just to create this frame for you, I want you to think about, like, have you ever been walking just down like a sidewalk, let's say, and you have a purpose, right? You want to go somewhere where maybe you're meeting up with some friends at a coffee shop, or you're going to go have a drink with them or something like that. And when you're doing that, what is the pace of your walk, right? It's kind of fast. Like you're moving, boom, excuse me, boom, going on purpose, right? And then have you ever come across those people where all of a sudden you're walking behind them and they're just like wandering along? They're just like dragging their feet. And when you come up against that energy, you're like, dude, shit, like move, please, right? And it's nothing against them, no judgment, and maybe they're in a nice little flow. That's beautiful as well. We need those states as well. We need to be able to just flow and be relaxed. But oftentimes it's because they have no direction, no purpose. But you in that moment have purpose, you have direction. So notice the difference in energy. And not that we're trying to create busyness or being fast, but I want you to just to understand with this little image here, this little metaphor, what it feels like and the momentum that's created when we are on purpose. So you can ask yourself, in life, do I have that energy right now? Am I on purpose? Maybe you are, maybe you're not, maybe you're getting there, right? All of it's okay. All of it is okay. But what I want to do with you is share 3 steps, and I got a little bonus one for us on what you can do to be in more alignment and connected to your purpose, right? So the first thing that often inhibits us from being on purpose is comparison. Really important. I've been talking about this in a few of the videos. But let's just look at it a little bit here. Stay with me here and let's just look at this. When we compare ourselves to others, what are we doing, right? Oftentimes we're seeing the mirror, we're seeing the reflection back. And it's going to go one of 2 ways. It's going to reflect back to us parts of ourselves that we haven't expanded into, or we haven't let go of, or we haven't connected to yet, right? So maybe someone is, very creative, they're very artistic, and they're creating something that's really unique and beautiful. So we can see that through the lens of comparison, and we can say, it can be a force of energy that contracts our own, meaning we look at them and go, oh, man, like, the deeper conversation that's going on is like, man, well, I'm not that artistic, or I don't have those skills, or I don't look like they do, whatever it is, right? And that's going to detract our energy. It's going to actually compress and contract us. And we are not expanding into the potentiality of being somewhat similar or having similar results as they have, right? But instead, what we can do is we can channel that energy. We can look at it differently through the same lens, but a little bit different, and go, okay, so what parts of myself can I channel from them to be more expansive, to experience some of the results that maybe they are experiencing? This is why mentorship is so powerful, why working with coaches is so powerful, because they can take us into deeper parts of ourselves that we're not aware of yet, or haven't grown yet, right? Like, when we think about how we grow as humans, we obviously grow, physically, but internally we're growing as well. And so there's parts of us sometimes that are very mature, very well adept to like what we're doing. And also on the same note, there's other parts that aren't expanded, aren't growing. And so a coach, a mentor, and the lens that we can see through somebody else when we channel their energy can actually take us deeper into ourselves. And that can be a very expansive experience, right? So allow that. I think that's a beautiful way to frame that, right? Allow the other person, rather than comparing yourself to them, allow them to be your teacher by creating an expansive experience, right? It's pretty cool, right? An expansive experience. So when you connect with somebody new, or there's an opportunity, like I said, I have a men's retreat coming up. that is going to be an expansive experience. But I know right now there's people that are going to look at it and be like, oh man, that sounds cool. I would like to do that. Other parts of themselves are going to speak up and be like, well, I don't know. You might not know everybody there, and it might be a little da-da-da-da-da. And therefore they are removing themselves from experiencing an expansive experience. And that's okay. Been there, right? But there's all kinds of opportunities like that for us in life that if we allow them to can be an expansive experience for us. The second part of this is to hold our vision loosely, okay? So I have been a master in parts of my life of squeezing the shit out of stuff that I wanted so much, trying to control the outcome so much that it became exhausting, that I burned out. And before I could even get to the result I wanted, it like grossed me out. I didn't even want to be part of it anymore. I'm like, dude, this is too freaking much, right? Like when I started doing, breath work, I was doing elite coaching and I added the breath work system in, and I really went at it, full force, because I was like, man, I want to like master this, and it's helping so many people. And through that, I was having a lot of fun, but I had to remind myself, like last year around Christmas time, I took 2 weeks off, just cleared out my schedule. And I was like, I'm not doing any sessions. And also this month of July, this is when I'm recording this right now, I'm not doing any group events. And it's not because like I don't want to, it's because I know that I need a little break. I need to like digest what I've learned. I need to take a step back and look at the big picture and go, all right, is there anything I need to change? Is there anything I'm doing too much of, or something I should do less of, right? So I have to allow myself a little distance so I don't burn out. We need to miss things sometimes, right? We need to miss things sometimes. Also, I train jujitsu, right? So sometimes you're training, you're going along, and then there's those moments where you just show up to go to practice and it's just like, dude, I don't even want to be here. There's value to training in those moments. And also we need to ask ourselves, okay, or is this the moment where I just need to relax? I just need to recover a little bit. I need to miss this sport for a minute. And in those moments, for me, I'll just take the week off. I won't train. But then when I come back the next week, I'm all pumped up. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. So we have to hold our vision loosely, understand and manage our excitement and our enthusiasm. And the metaphor I like to use with this is like, imagine if your goal, right? This is another metaphor, right? Is to scoop up some water out of this like little pond, okay? If I grab that water and I squeeze it in my hand like this, squeeze it super tight. I want that water and I squeeze it. Is there going to be any water left? Probably not, right? Or no, there won't be. But if I take that same pond and I take my hand, I just scoop it up and I hold it in the palm of my hand, nice and loosely like this. Is there going to be water in there? Yes. So we should hold our vision the same way. Have an idea and a direction that you're going in, right? But hold it loosely. Like, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now, I wouldn't have envisioned I'd be doing it the way that I am, right? The different things that I'm doing. They kind of came together organically in a way. And it's because I was following an inner path of alignment, right? As I got more connected in my body, as I healed a lot of my trauma, as I moved a lot of this stuck energy and stories that I had out of my body, out of my system, out of my energetic field, I started to flow a little bit more. I could feel a little bit more, and just to give you guys a little story of kind of how powerful that actually was is in my previous business. I talked to you guys a little bit about how I was a personal trainer, had my own business, used to go speak at these fitness events. I had my own mastermind group, right? Recession hit back in 2009. I lost my business. I had purchased 3 commercial units where I was working out of. Purchased all 3 of those units, had a condo on the golf course, drove a BMW. I'm in my 20s. Life is like a ballin', right? Ended up losing all of that. Like literally walked out of my condo one day, car repoed, not even there. I had like $3,000 to pay off on it. Gone, right? And so that like rock bottom moment, right? Getting everything ripped away like that. I had to, learn to let go, learn to flow, right? And see that, life can still create momentum, right? And so I started to learn to hold things loosely, to be unattached to the outcome of things. Because previously it was like I had all these goals, these objectives, like, okay, I got to own the business. I got to do this. I got to do these things. I was always in the future. I was never present. I couldn't enjoy what I actually had. And those experiences I'm actually grateful for because they took me to a deep, heavy place, but there was so much wisdom, so many lessons in that. Like when you fail, quote, fail, it's not failure, but when you get a setback in life that heavy, that hard at such an early age, and I'm sure you've had other ones in other areas of your life as well, like those can really shake us up, and they kind of allow us to turn to a point where you're like, dude, fuck, like I understand more what really matters in life. And so now as I move through things, I want to play more. I want to enjoy it more. Because back then, even though I had all this stuff, I wasn't like really enjoying any of it. It was always like I was on to the next thing. And there was a lot of stress in what I had created. So learn to hold your vision loosely, right? We don't need to squeeze it. Let the universe, let God, let source, however you want to frame that, work with you, right? Work with you. You do half the work, and let the universe do the other half. Like sometimes I'll have a day where like I'll create maybe some marketing material or I'm working on something. I'll send it out, and my instinct is to like jump on top of it. Okay, I gotta do more. I gotta do more now. But what I've learned to do is be like, all right, like I did what I can do today, and I still got a lot of energy. I still feel good. I got energy. I'm gonna let that go, and I'm gonna take that energy and I'm gonna go exercise. I'm gonna go ride my bike. Go hang with some friends at a coffee shop. Right? There's more flow to that, more enjoyment. Like those are the things, the bike rides, the connection at the coffee shop that give me enthusiasm, excitement for life, to have the energy to then go create something beautiful. So understanding that life is not just this linear progression, right? We're not just moving from A to Z. It's a vertical progression of growth, of expansion, right? Learning who we are, experiencing life, tasting the pleasures of life, all of it, right? All of it. That is the expansion of life. So, and then last, what I got little notes here, little thing to make it work. So yeah, like, I think ultimately we have to, I kind of was just alluding to it, right? Like we have to develop roots. Like if you think of a tree to grow, it has to have roots. But in our culture, in our society, we look at things in the form of the tree. We see the tree. I can see that. And the tree, again, using a lot of metaphors today, the tree is an analogy or a metaphor for our life, right? Like we see the house, we see the cars, we see the new clothes we're wearing. Like that's the tree, right? Or the things that we're doing, and that's how we kind of align to if we're on purpose or not, if I'm doing what I should be doing. Rather, you can't grow that tree without having roots. So we really have to go inward. We have to ask ourselves, like, where do I need to grow? Where do I need to, let go of things more, to take more responsibility in my life, to, connect and let go of these walls and these boundaries that I have on myself, right? Like a lot of us, we experience heartbreak and setback, or we get stabbed in the back. Been there with all those things, man. And it's so easy to just put up walls and barriers and build our life in this box. But true expansiveness takes connection. It takes teamwork. It takes, allowing ourselves to go through vulnerable experiences. And that's what all those aspects build the roots. And by building the roots, then we can grow a very beautiful tree, and a beautiful tree that creates a lot of shade that people can sit under and benefit from. That's what it means to have legacy, to build a legacy where other people can benefit from what you're creating. So as you think about your purpose, these are the internal concepts that will help you out, to help you understand and unpack your purpose. Like hold it loosely. Like you don't have to have it all figured out right now, right? Like let it unfold a little bit. Feel into more of what you like, some of what you don't like. That's the learning process of understanding what your purpose is, right? And it can be small. Like your purpose doesn't mean you're doing it 24/7. It can be fragments of your life, or maybe you're coaching your kids soccer team, and it just feels good to share some of your insights, some of your encouragement with people. That's a beautiful thing. Start small. Let it just be these little things, right? You guys have all heard the, like, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time, right? Just a little piece, a little piece. Just start small and let that grow, let that expand. Maybe it's just you encouraging people more, smiling more, and also doing that for yourself. If you're in a relationship, really, like I always like to think of, like, in a relationship, like I'm blowing life into my intimate relationship, my relationship with my children, spouse, things like that. I'm blowing life into them, helping them grow. Are you doing that for yourself? Are you doing that for those closest to you? Are you doing that just externally? Like the more we do that, the more energy that comes back to us. I really believe it's like this circular type of thing. Like if you want more love in your life, the quickest way to experience it is to give love. When you give love, you experience that as well, right? So start looking through the lens of that, right? These little things you can do to align with your purpose. And it really is, it's an alignment. It's finding, it's feeling, it's growing into it. And also, like, let's just look at the reality of things too. Like, you probably have bills, I'm sure. We all have bills to pay, responsibilities to take care of. And it's like, oh, it must be nice if I could just go do this. It takes time. It takes time. And sometimes you have to do side hustles or work a job and find these moments where you can come home and you can, you know, write your blog, or you can work on some videos, or you can work on a product you're creating, or the business idea that you have that you really want to get out there, right? And so we have to do the other things to kind of coincide with that. Like, you may have to work the job. Like, there was one point where I was working at the psychology department at the university. I was a full-time grad student. I worked a business that I had started and was working that business. And I was teaching private jujitsu lessons. Those are four like major things going on, and having three children at home, right? It was a whole lot. But I knew, like, I knew the business in that instance was the thing that I knew would give me a lot of freedom. And so I just kept working it, kept working it. And I remember the day where, like, I got so many orders that I was like, I actually have to quit now. I have to quit these other things I'm doing to focus on this. And it was like a beautiful moment of freedom, and like seeing, like, oh damn, like that can help, right? And then working that, and starting to develop all these other things that I'm still working on, I'm still growing into, and I'm still, I still got side hustles and things I do, right? So we have to allow ourselves to work through those things sometimes. There's a lot of opportunity with the internet, right? Like, you can create, stuff on Etsy. Like, maybe you're artistic, or you have, I know somebody that took, gosh, it was like these toys from Target, and they kind of reinvented them in a way and then sold those, or people who took the crates, those crates that they use to like shipping containers and stuff like that, the crates from those, and developed them to like little wine cabinets and then sold those online. Like, there's all kinds of cool little things that we can get into, right? And just, that's for you to understand, for you to look at. But I just want to encourage you that if you are working a job, or if you are working a side hustle or two, or doing something like, DoorDash even, right? Where you have some flexibility, see that as a good thing. See that as a plus, because it's allowing you the time and the opportunity to work on the other things that more align with your purpose, and feed off of that, right? Like, this is something that I want to leave you with, right? That I think will really help you as well, right? Like, when you buy a new car, or you get a new car, and then all of a sudden you start seeing it everywhere, right? All of a sudden you're like, oh wow, there's that car I have. There's that car. You never noticed it before, but as soon as you get that car, as soon as it comes into your awareness, right? Now you see it everywhere. So start to do that with your purpose. Okay, so you're working your job, and also, but start to notice the little things that just start to come in alignment with you. Like the people who, maybe encourage you, or the insights you have, or the abundance that you get. Like, I keep an abundance log and a synchronicity log. So when things just kind of line up for me, I write it down, because I'm bringing it into my awareness, just like the car example, right? I'm bringing it into my awareness, and I start to see more of it. It starts to show up more often. And now I'm feeding off of that energy. And also, I do that for abundance, right? Like, literally, we had a neighbor bring us some hand-me-down clothes. I could have just looked at that and said, like, okay, some hand-me-downs, thank you. But I wrote it in the abundance log, right? Because it is like someone just gave me that. Someone just gifted us this stuff. Those types of things are happening in your life. And if you'll find them, if you'll focus on them, they'll expand you. You'll start to feed off it, and it'll bring you deeper and deeper into alignment with your purpose. And again, guys, when you're on purpose, man, there's just an energy to it. So feed off of that energy, right? Pull off of that energy. And to do that takes presence. Again, that's why it's so important to do the inner work, to do the healing work, to express, to let that energy move, to be vulnerable, to share your feelings. As a man, it's a good thing to cry. If you can't cry, good luck being creative. Like, those things have to work together. We have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, connected to our emotions. So, yeah, I hope this stuff helps y'all out. We're doing this together, right? As I'm speaking to you, I'm always also speaking to myself, because I'm going through this stuff too. So I'm sending you guys tons of love, man. You can help me out by just sharing this video with somebody who might benefit from it, and also give it a good thumbs up, subscribe. That really helps. I want to help get this message out there more and more. So I'm sending you guys tons of love. Until next time, peace.